There is too much to go through in this episode, my friends, so we're going to have to move fast. You know, apart from this work here, which I think I missed, came out August 18th. Other than that, almost everything has come out in like the last 48 hours since last show on Tuesday. So welcome back, Artist Journal, September 7th, 2023, broadcasting to the world from inner space in Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and I welcome you back. And once again, thank you for the comments, the hilarity, and everything. The Twitter spaces, we'll get to that in a second. So we do have to, it's incredible. I'm going to move fast because I kind of want everybody to see this entire show because it's actually just incredible how much, this is all just through the Twitter feed in the last 2 days. And other places, Object, Instagram, whatever. So here we go. You know the artist, probably Dana Ulama. I don't think we saw this work. It actually came out in August. And I saw her repost it here, and I thought, I don't remember seeing that. That's beautiful. August 18th. And this is on Super Rare. And of course, Dana Ulama does these kind of sci-fi scenes. I guess you could call them kind of vaporwave-esque and kind of softening, warming up the palette a bit with these kind of going from pink to almost red, which is really, really cool. And you see this kind of city flying in the air is what that seems to be. And this kind of traffic in the sky, and this person here, our protagonist, with the hair kind of waving at the streetlight, looking up at the city, and that is the name of the work, Up, and it is at a reserve of 1.666 ETH on Super Rare. So very, very cool, and we have a time lapse that Dana has provided. So let's take a quick look at that, and you can see the process and all the work and the draftsmanship that goes into one of these works. It's quite stunning. It's quite cool, too. I think that's Procreate, where you can do these time lapses like this. Look at these, this soft brush kind of atmospheric thing going on here. A lot of dexterity here, too. I mean, it's incredible. It's so cool how you can see the entire work being made here. And working out all the details. And we are getting close. Look at all these details, and then putting in the infrastructure, the foreground at the end, and the traffic. And then I guess animating it at the end. Look at that. And then you get this beautiful work, which I just felt compelled to start with. So very cool from Dana Ulama. And one more here. Good morning. Good to see new work from Dana Ulama, and that really cool kind of glitch or whatever that is that goes through this image of this robot and perhaps a human woman, perhaps. Continuing on, so beautiful work. And thank you everybody who showed up to the spaces yesterday with Cider. I was thrilled to have Cider on. Cider's 21 years old. Amazingly, studies, I believe, industrial engineering out of Brazil. So very cool to learn, and the recording is here. It'll eventually get on YouTube as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to Cider and to Runetune. That was an awesome space. And if you don't know who Cider is, we have looked at Cider's work. A 21-year-old based in Curitiba, Brazil, lives apparently close to Elbe. I forgot to ask if they knew each other. And yeah, so we've looked at Driver Error before. We've looked at Lost Memory, which is The Man. This is actually going to come up again, actually, in an Elbe work later in this show. And look at this awesome microwave here. So just a really cool artist. Uses distortion, a lot of textures going from physical to digital and back. Just a natural. And at the end, there was someone who came on stage that asked who Cider's major artistic influences were, and he's like, I don't actually have too many. He's just a natural, incredibly. So again, we looked at this work here, and this is a new one. I think it's called Cid Rouge, and you just see it's very interesting. It's just like a color field painting, but done with Cider's style. So super cool work. This is a recent one, just released, I think, yesterday or the day before. So big shout out and thank you to Cider. So getting to our comments, the courtroom of the imagination here. I managed to figure out how to make the comments bigger here, thankfully. So Retro Manny, haha, courtroom of the imagination, love it. Poetic justice right here. I love that title too. I actually came up with it at 3 a.m. the night before, and I woke up and wrote it down because I liked it too. I thought it was hilarious. I hope it brought a smile to faces out there. That was really the goal. Aw, heck, you're always fighting to keep the episodes shorter, but I really enjoy it when they're longer. Well, you may be in luck again today. Aw, heck, big shout out and thank you. Mick Renders, much love. Appreciate hearing the discussion on the matter. I definitely invited chaos upon my object page yesterday, but I've never been the type to hold my tongue. Cheers, great episode. These things are important to talk about. I wonder if people started burning some of Mick Render's work. We'll have to look. There's literally too much. I think we actually have a Mick Render's work actually in this episode. Maybe we can take a quick look. Bulls, I believe here, indeed a sophist, historic alive guy. Intentions are clear, despite the fact that this character wants to sugarcoat it, talking about the protection of the artwork. Infuriating. PP, Poco, thanks again, and you keep on doing and saying whatever you want. Please, best. Please, best. Thank you. I was actually a little embarrassed by that. We have a little kind of memography coming up here on that. This was also Noisy Coyote. Maybe we should connect the ethics with the lack of collectors, right? So I assume Noisy Coyote is agreeing with me there. So thank you for the comments and very interesting. And I was actually kind of embarrassed by this. I almost don't want to show it, but if people are going to put the work in and do this, and I thought other people seem to enjoy it, so I'll just show it. So yeah, I was actually pretty embarrassed by this after, but I was like, I put on the episode and, you want to kind of keep your cool, right? But I'm glad you guys appreciate it. Thank you, Kiro, for the post and the memography, Thug Life. As long as everybody's having fun. And, as far as Historic Alive, I've had the thought of doing it. Other people were writing. I made sure to highlight the tweets of people who have done it and kind of regretted it. So, all's well that ends well. And I think everybody can move on, hopefully. This was a really nice comment. Watch Mr. Pocobelli in the morning with a good coffee is the best. And I think I wrote, that's like my favorite review. That's like my favorite possible review. I thought I did. Rare. This is a very interesting comment. Saw another artist I respect on Instagram who had no NFTs. In other words, they were against NFTs in their bio. I get why the gamers have issues, GPU issues, but other traditional artists and some digital. Is it the stigma of crypto? Was there just too much greed at the start? What put the majority off on blockchain? And it is an interesting question. I do think it's the fact that it came out of this crypto subculture, which does kind of have a bit of a checkered history, and even the word itself, crypto, I think puts a lot of people off. It's a great question from Rare here. And I do think the reason there's an aversion to NFTs out there, a surprising one to those of us who are in it, and I do think it's this kind of polarizing nature of crypto, and I think we could say which is half deserved. I mean, crypto is full of scams, among other things, and there are some great projects, but it really is the Wild West out there. So I think that's the reason, and it was kind of back to that comment where we were talking about, ethics. If you want mass adoption, I don't believe you're going to do it with a totally checkered kind of history and past, or without kind of cleaning things up a bit, so I do think, and, there is a sense, I think, unfairly too, like this is, that, oh, you guys made a bunch of money by doing nothing. And I think that's an unfair argument against crypto, because there's nothing different in investing, say, in Bitcoin than in buying gold from a moral point of view. as if like investing in gold, you're doing something and you're helping the world, whereas this is just doing something for nothing. I've never found that's a fair argument against crypto, but I have heard it. So, but all to say, yeah, I mean, I think, and we've seen in the news the last 6 months, it's been pretty intense, the kind of stories. It's kind of like story after story. I mean, remember, what was the name of that stable coin? Do Kwon? I don't even remember the name of it. And like where that was like a massive catastrophe. So I think that brought Bitcoin down from 45 to like 25 or 30. Anyway, continuing on, Pablo Picasso, more convinced every day that one-of-one art is the next giga NFT cycle. That's pretty interesting. Profile pictures will always be around and some will survive. They are good for community building and branding. One-of-one art is where the benefits of permissionless Ethereum tech thrives for art, though. And yeah, this kind of echoes something I've been saying for a while here, which other than money transfer, which we don't need crypto to do technically, even though it's really good at it, but in a sense, I can still send emails. I can still transfer money around, maybe not as easily, maybe not as widespread. But I'm kind of back to this digital art being the main use case. And I know that's an oversimplification, but being one of the main use cases for crypto. You can buy and sell digital assets, particularly art. So I just think a really interesting comment. One wonders. And with all the commentary out there, Uxine has weighed in with my opinion on the recent topics, and I love it. It was hilarious, and yeah, because there's a lot of talk out there right now. So nice visual commentary from Uxine. This was super interesting. Maybe a lot of you saw this. They have turned, I would argue controversially, Keith Haring's, although not as controversial as doing it with a physical work like the Mona Lisa, because at least these are digital works, but they've turned Keith Haring's computer drawings, which I've never seen before, and I believe they put them on the blockchain. So pretty cool work here by Keith Haring. Untitled #2. Like, to me, the collectability is, again, who's minting this? I do think there's an important, and there's Andy Warhol, a nice, like, and you see, it almost looks like deluxe paint or something, or whatever this is, really old graphics programs, and there's a big Warhol flower. And look at this, here back in 1987, here, Keith Haring celebrating the pixels here. So pretty cool. It's like they already understood the aesthetic beauty of pixel art, arguably way back then. So really interesting article here on Outland.art, Keith Haring's NFTs at Christie's. So I think they've NFT'd them. I'm kind of mixed on, I think the artist should mint it. Otherwise it's kind of like, I'm not sure if it's, as legit in my own mind. And again, feel free to disagree, anybody. Cool, hilarious kind of satire in real time from Die With The Most Likes. So just showing the vibrancy of this culture here within, a day, as the news comes out, we get a cool, funny, real-time commentary from Die With The Most Likes, who of course loves the ground beef as a theme, and Here Are the Flies, and then classic Keith Haring artwork. So pretty brilliant, and again, you just see the power, the vibrancy of this scene. LB with some really cool experiments here. Boys playing leapfrog on our Zora. So pretty cool, and here's the Game Boy camera, so kind of experimental here. This looks like it's almost been printed out at the bottom. Here, maybe it's just like digital, not sure. Pretty interesting. I mean, we're seeing different, basically, renditions, and here's like actually video of the camera. So pretty cool, and you see that dithering in there, and we're going to see more, I think, work from this camera later in the show. Game Boy Advance, so interesting work from LB. And here, I believe this is Sky Goodman here. Thank you, everyone who has collected my work. I Am Gentle from the Patchwork Glitch collection. Just 2 editions are left on primary. So they're at the show in Chicago, I believe, the NFT gallery there in Chicago. Very cool shirt. I believe that's Sky Goodman. Kareem Safa, thrilled to announce our Hyperconnection exhibition. My new work, Monolithic Machines, is on display this week. on the Soda Building in Manchester. The complete piece will be unveiled on VerseWorks ahead of its sale on September 29th. And Cider is working with VerseWorks too. So VerseWorks doing some very interesting things. Particularly, I think Cider is doing, the fruit series, doing a whole bunch of fruits. So very cool. And look at this video. And there's Kristen Roos, Kareem Safa. So really nice. Just add Leander Herzog. Who is this other person? Greta Liu. So pretty rad. Just very, look at that. I mean, just very cool. In Manchester, Rinny Fish. Works in progress here. And here we see Rinny Fish. I don't know if that's Photoshop, but we get a clue into Rinny Fish's progress here. I don't think it is Photoshop. So another beautiful work here from Rinny Fish. And continuing on, look at this test by Cap'n. This is beautiful. Really, Cap'n's another one of these people that just feels like a natural. Like they just it just comes easy to them. Cider is one, and you could argue, Cap'n is another. Look at how beautiful this is. There's something just incredibly original, making it look so easy. I really love the text here too. Just beautifully, beautifully done, this entire thing. So I believe this is just a test. And here's a work also by Figments, which is Cap'n, in collaboration with Itzel Reina. So Cap'n, Figments, adding music. Like perfect music again. So you have to love it. The first one was a campfire scene, remember? And this is La Leyenda del Árbol Rojo. So not sure what that is. Very cool music from Itzel Reina. Of course, Figments, who is Cap'n. And there are 21 left, edition of 25 on Primary. Cap'n Little Noise Test. So more just super interesting experimentation from Cap'n. Just really, really cool. And here's another work. And this is kind of reminiscent of some of the older work. What does this say? Maybe we have the Root of Dreams. So just really poetic work here from Cap'n, some pixel art. Here's Kazuhiro Ihara. And I don't think we've looked at their work for quite a while, and really kind of bold experimentation here with this kind of like sketch that's almost kind of JPEG'd out a little bit. And then you have this pixelation here. Super interesting abstract here, and the kind of like the flashing and everything. On Teia, collect for 15 Tezos, edition of 12. I think there are 8 left, and here's another one. It actually looks like the same composition, doesn't it? Or a similar composition, like the underneath drawing is the same, but the paint, I mean, again, I call it, what do we call it here? The tension of digital copies. Because you could theoretically just reuse the layer. Hey, let's make this one orange and put different paint splashes. Because you would have to print stuff out in the physical world, and that's just not, it's almost like more akin to like original screen prints. As if Warhol were, putting the paint underneath randomly, and then it kind of makes it a unique when you screen print over top of it. Kind of a inverted version of that here. So very interesting work. Also on Teia or Object, collect for 15 Tezos, 9 left. Very interesting work there. And Kuhei Yamashita, Mystery of Vision, a killer title with this beautiful Polaroid type camera with the retro TV screen from the 80s, just brilliant. An eyeball here, almost reminds me of The Residents, so interesting touch here. And this beautiful, flat, bright green background, hilarious concept with the photo content here. That old retro default TV screen, brilliant. Look at that, already on secondary for 75 Tezos and sold for 1 Tezos each on primary. Continuing on, Uxine, Dread.exe, launched in Web0. So this is on Foundation. So this looks like it's going to come out later on today. Price 2 ETH, half an ETH. I'm not resting price, half an ETH. I'm not exactly sure what is going on. It almost feels like a preview thing, and you're not sure what's going to be underneath. Like, it reminds me of the profile picture projects. Before they get the reveal, you get all this. It's almost like profile pictures, but done as the Uxine computer guy. So who knows what's going to happen here? Rebate Dutch auction. Learn more. Very interesting. We'll keep tabs on that. GloomTube with a new work which also uses the alien theme. This is one of the stamps, Close Encounter stamp. So continuing with the UFO theme, and there are a couple of GloomTube guys looking like they're coming out of a UFO here, and they're glowing, and there's some green kind of radioactive alien substance here. Another just really nicely done work, and of course you see the texture underneath here in almost like a hard, big, large canvas texture. A rough canvas texture. Jan Lucas Migone, Thursday drop opening, last one, Kiss in Flames. So just a preview here. Nice ad. I mean, you could put this at the start of a movie. Pretty cool. The only reason I'm not keeping the sound is in case of copyright. Look at that. I mean, nice ad. Talk about effort. Very impressive. And we have another one that I think I missed. Here we go. From August 10th. And we have like this golden figure here and a skeleton. And it looks like a digital painting here and chains, almost looking like somewhat mythological in character. Let's see the details here. This Human Project, Parts of Me collection. So this one is actually older than the last 48 hours. Part real and part fantasy. No one can control it. The beauty of a theory. Resolution 5000. So just an interesting painting here from Jan Lucas Migone, available on secondary for 19 Tezos. And artist I don't think I've ever seen before. Let's just open their page here. Found it on Twitter. A fresh summer. I'm ready for the summer. So edition of 15, priced at 15 Tezos. Just a new discovery here. Interesting kind of portrait of this woman with flowers coming out of the head, and some interesting kind of patterning going on here. Interesting work. Let's just go to the page. So maybe a newer artist here. Welcome to Masa's Art and NFT Gallery on Tezos. So very nice piece. You can see a bit of a jump here. These were on Rarible, so maybe this artist is starting something new. Actually, this is from May 29th, interestingly. Okay, so this one is not from the last 48 hours. So a couple here. Most of them are, or at least posted. Here we go. I guess September 4th, gem with good greens, full 16:9 view below. So here, and I believe that is this. So how do we pronounce it? So complexed. And I do follow them. That is a Twitter glitch. So basically what looks like a fruit market, and done in this beautiful illustrative style with some beautiful lighting here. Cool work. And here's another illustration. This is Ilio Givel Circular Saw. It's kind of a surreal illustration here with this saw here, and here it looks like a person, and it's almost like there's psychological pain here, not sure, and interestingly colored with each kind of little section, you know, almost like a paint bucket fill on, you know, almost like a magic wand fill in each area here. Interesting way of coloring. Self-consciously digital from Ilio Givel. Very cool work. And another illustration from Flora Marquez, back on the scene. Morondango Republic to our beloved poets and poetesses. And here it looks like a writer, and perhaps a typewriter here, a book and coffee, and Morondanga in the writing here. So maybe a tribute and celebration of writing. And poets and poetesses. Daniel W. is on Arzora with some 4 really nice series here. CMYK Works, Open Edition Free Mint, announcement, all the daily minis and more to come are up for grabs as free mints at Arzora on my new collection series, CMYK Works. The first 4 are up for grabs until Sunday. Get them while you can. And here they are. And as you can see, just really actually beautiful work here, kind of different from Daniel W.'s other work, kind of very textured. See if we can open one of these. And just really nice, kind of beautiful work here. Kind of, again, with that kind of print style and textured paper. CMYK Works 01, Abyssal Dream. So mint for free. Continuing on, Gakism. And living is really troublesome. I'll live as long as I can, but let's live. So just an interesting, I'm not sure if it was, I was on Cider's page. I found a couple of works there. Just another really interesting discovery here with what looks like almost like a spider type leg coming out of the forehead here. Kind of a surreal work here and almost a plant consuming this person. Runetune and Cavity have a new work. I guess they are, I was seeing in the tweet, sounds like they've known each other for a while, so a collaboration. Memento Mori, Dying of the Light. And here we see almost a Picasso reference here in the light bulb. You'll see it in Guernica. And here almost as well in perhaps a skull of a bull with a cool animation here and recognizably Runetune. So a very cool, also black and white like Guernica. So perhaps, just perhaps, a reference there, but not sure. Edition of 10, now on sold out and now on secondary for 19 and selling out at 3 Tezos each on primary. Pamela Cerrone, Donde Estas? So more music. Pretty cool music too, I might add. Kind of new wave, upbeat. So that goes for 1:28. So very cool work here. Recorded in Ableton Live, Wave 32 bits exported. So that was recorded in 2021. So it looks like Pamela is the musician there. Very cool work. And more work from Pamela, this time on Zora. So staying super prolific, putting out what seems like 2 or 3 works a day. I could be wrong about that, but that's the impression. And just another really cool illustration. It's called ABC 123. A couple of works. So this was actually from last August 27th. So I missed. So just a ton of works here. I missed this. And you can tell the artist, Ed Marola here. Very Museum of Modern Art feeling here. Using that big pan scroll. Almost like some gold, like a video game here. Look at how long this is, too. Super cool. It's hard to move on from this one, and there's somebody sleeping. Of course, dreams are the main subject matter. And look at this intro. I mean, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So we just had a Twitter space with Ed last week. So check that out. What an awesome artist. And we have another one. Here is another one that was just... just beautiful. Beautiful. The music's beautiful, too. I love this series. This is part of like a style by Ed where there'll be someone playing some sort of music thing and then something else is happening in the background. Just a really cool series. Suzanne Video Wall. I think Suzanne might be his partner by now for half an ETH. Or reserve of 0.15. Continuing on. Here's mech.txt. Walk with me, abandon your past glories. So I think we've seen this, but it's sold. So a nice big version here, and it sold for 0.375 ETH. Quite a few people bidding on it. I guess 4 people bidding on it, and finally going for, again, a pretty nice price there of 0.375. I mean, what is that, like $600-700? Pretty good, and beautiful work from mech.txt. Another work on chain by Spiegel's Maskinen. So this is quite interesting and beautiful too. And if you go back a show or two, you'll see the links are in that Twitter feed of, and you see, yeah, quarter of an ETH, 0.2718 ETH for this. There are a certain breed of collector that really love the on-chain works. And of course, on-chain meaning, you know, most NFTs unless it's ordinals with Bitcoin, most NFTs connect to some image on IPFS, International Protocol File Service or something, right? So some sort of decentralized image network. So the beauty of this is it should never disappear as long as the Ethereum blockchain's around. Pretty nice work, interesting way, and beautiful too. It's almost like this ruined TV, retro TV on this pedestal here as an art piece. Quite brilliant. And there you almost see the default screen there. More pixel art, this time from Pinky Blue. I've never broken a bone, but the x-ray of my soul would show many fissures. Absolutely, all of us, Pinky, all of us. Beautiful work here. And here in pink and blue is a heart above hands with maybe some chains or arteries in the background. Cool work. And a super cool work by Ugo. Just ton of interesting work. Here's a car, F40, unsold, burned quickly. So I believe this is on Object. 10,000 editions there. And this was an interesting artist too, John Provencher. And I'm not sure I've seen their work before, but John posted an interview or a profile that was done, and here were some of the works. And I thought these are really cool. And again, you see this kind of old Mac window as a framing device. And here you see almost these video game type figures, but what I want to say, painted beautifully here. Just really, really nicely done here. So really interesting artist, Jean Provencher. Ton of new artists in this episode here. So check that out. That's on itsnicethat.com is the name of the website. So look at that. So very, very interesting artist here. Continuing on, you can recognize this Yuri J with a new work with a big happy face. So I'm not sure if this has been minted. Really nice looking piece though. And here is another one. We did see this before and Yuri was debating minting it and I think may have changed the water here from what we saw before on Twitter. It's called New Room and this is on Zora and I think it's a free mint. Continuing on, this looks like Manidal. And we have some more cats here, and this is on the website called mallow.art, which I have never heard of. Yeah, Manidal. And the name of the piece is Yazzie Canna, and it looks like it's up for auction, highest bid for Sol. There's a 1 day left to get, I assume it's a 1 of 1. And there's some hilarious 8-bit music. I mean, it's really amazing what's going on here. And the fun. That goes for almost 3 minutes. The fun in the music, too. It just kind of represents the spirit, the youthful spirit of this scene, which contrasts so interestingly, doesn't it, with the contemporary art world and often the heaviness that comes associated with it. So very interesting. More lightness here. Chaz has a new retro computer called, I think it's called Tetris, with a retro joystick here. And yeah, the funny thing about Tetris, if you play it a ton, I remember when I was a kid, it's a weird phenomenon that if you play it like for 3 or 4 hours, often when you're going to sleep, you'll have the perfect Tetris game where everything kind of falls where it's supposed to fall. Leave a comment if that's ever happened to you. But I remember other people in my family were reporting the same thing when I was a kid. And it was happening to me. So really cool work here. Only 350, edition of 10. There is 1 left. It's on secondary. And Hash Cookie from Haiti Rockette. So continuing with the video game theme and looking like it is reappropriating a Super Mario, because that looks like maybe Mario or Luigi here. And maybe he's changing the text in the title. So cool kind of glitch, because of course you can open the code, I think, with this glitching process and put in whatever you want. So kind of hilarious, always a sense of humor. Sweet by Haiti Rockette, available for only 20 Tezos on secondary. And here, I was mentioning this earlier, so remember the man, the anonymous person that we saw in Cider's work? Well, LB, I think, is friends, or at least lives nearby. Have you dreamed about this man? And so putting it on a billboard, almost looking like it has the treatment of the Game Boy camera, right? And all of this. So just really, really interesting. That beautiful dithering there, kind of, almost fuzzed out here, but to great effect, to very great effect. This is an open edition on Object available for 5 Tezos 55 Tezos cents, and it is open for another 6 days. Continuing on, Slava 3, 404 coffee. I thought this was great. And again, expanding with the palette here. And you see the 404 window inside a cup of coffee. Brilliant, with all the dithering and everything. By now, open edition, it is finished. So now it's on secondary for 13 Tezos. Satoshi Aizawa. I have bombed a new token rotator. So this is on object, actually. And let's see if there's any sound. So just a cool animated abstract work here. Look at that. So I assume this is programming, right? So again, I mean, it's pretty incredible the amount of work that's coming out here. Like I was thinking, like, I don't know what to do with this show in terms of, like, there's too much stuff coming out. Here's another one, JN 3008, collab with Etienne JCB. And it almost looks like these dice or squares. Just more interesting animated abstract work. 1.9 million views. We haven't seen a number like that since Popple got those 4 million views. Remember that? Let's just see. 21,000 followers. Like when you get like go viral like that, I think you get like thousands of followers. So pretty impressive there. 1.9 million. Lorna Mills, Okie Dokie Sharky. I thought this was pretty funny. The shark looks like it's like eating itself. So a fun one here with a beautiful pale blue background from Lorna Mills. Edition of 32 available for 15 Tezos. And continuing on, Curio Fringe with a wild kind of piece here. I mean, the imagination is off the charts. I mean, it's hard to be bearish, whatever is going on in the market, with the amount of imagination that is pouring out of Twitter here. It's astonishing. Like, look at this. Like, I don't, it looks like ET or something. Soft round pressure. Just more interesting art here. Ex-Mortal on a new marketplace. It's on Avalanche as well. One wonders if Avalanche is kind of, what would you call it? Like, if Avalanche is, what do you call it when you ask someone to do something and you give a bit of money? The word is escaping me. I'm sure someone will remember it. So here's Rise on Super Chief and brand new marketplace on AVAX. So interesting to see another AVAX marketplace, Avalanche blockchain, because we just saw 0-1. So it seems like they're trying to get the artists, which is wise. I think very wise. And if they just put out $1 million, let's say, they can probably, the word is escaping me, we'll just help pay people. Hey, can you put a marketplace together for us? I don't know if that's what's happening, but it would be really smart of them to do that. And that's probably what's going on, because why are people working on Avalanche all of a sudden? So very cool. And here is the actual, I went to the link on superchief.io, and then you get this coming soon page, 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 30 seconds to go. So fascinating. Mick Renders saying he's going to be on the show, so don't pull the cartridge. Let's actually look and see if any have been burnt here. Okay, none burnt over here. That is good. And yeah, another really cool work. Still some left here on primary, 13 left on primary. Don't pull the cartridge. So nice piece here of The Legend of Zelda, 1986. Very nice Nintendo glitch ROM. And again, it looks like there is another layer of glitch processing over top. N-Gage by Tezos. And this is another retro cell phone. N-Gage by Nokia from 2003. Let's hit play here. So interesting concept here. I think you see there's the number pad. I think someone was saying in the comments on Twitter that they actually had that phone. Hilariously, kind of almost like a BlackBerry. I assume this is a keyboard here. And there's like the phone. Pretty interesting phone. Pretty interesting concept. Kurt Hustle Collective back on the scene here. Big Slim with what looks like maybe a kind of puppet sumo wrestler of sorts here. Maybe some Japanese writing. DBO Sports. Hilarious. Buy for 50 Tezos, only an edition of 5, 2 left on primary. Somfei. And the thing with Kurt Hustle, and I don't know if this is what's going on here, is often when you buy something, there's it unlocks another, you get another one sometimes, but not always. So I don't know if that's what's going on there. Somfei with a cool work here. Analog glitch here, so cool processing here. And I think we have another one, cool abstract modesty. And the link, this is a 1 of 1 on object. Let's just take a look at it here. So another cool work from Somfei. Another work here from Ranextier and DJ Kiro, which could hang in the same room. Edition of 7, and it's called Momentary Lapse 29. So they put out a ton of these works. Cool collaboration here between the two. You get Ranextier's abstractions with Kiro's, video glitch layering, shall we say, on top, or remixing. Very cool, DJ Kiro and Ranextier. And Koda Nakazono with a really cool work here. A really pixelated one, almost like a very low-res work. This is, I think, in that series, Continuum number 147. So I haven't seen them for a while. This one was particularly cool here. Sale for 50 Tezos after 2 minutes. So flew off the shelf. 50 Tezos, 1 of 1. Again, the power of the 1 of 1. And here Martin Joe with a homage to Tornado Rodriguez here. Gets the coffee cup treatment. And I guess that's Tornado with the little weed figure here and some coffee and the brain. I mean, really nicely done. So that is on Object or Teya, Coffee Break, Tornado Rodriguez Cup. Very cool series. Collect for 420. 15 left. Guru Hyena with a super interesting work here. Look at all these horses, but done in that kind of GLB, GLTF format. Very interesting. So interesting to look at here. And then, of course, so just a wild kind of work here, interactive. When you look at it on the main page, I think it's this one. So I guess you can put up like a thumbnail. And you see all these other works. And of course, we looked at the GM, I think, last show. So really interesting work here from Guru Hyena. Crush. Crush NFTs. I'm excited for this mint. Finding the time to finalize has been difficult, but it will mint later today. Yeah, I hear ya. First collab with talented illustrator FIQIH. And they're just hanging out kind of, again, like a 3D file here with some animation. Very cool. And I think this is Sabato. Yeah, we sell human hands. Let me give you some volume here.
Find the right hand. We'll make one for you using our state-of-the-art artificial intelligence technologies.
I think it's for
guided by the most
Super
talented
Chief.
Subcontracted designers, handpicked from prestigious global North MFA programs. These artists work with our team of cutting-edge hand scientists and doctors, all trained in countries with socialized medicine. Only the best hands handling your hand.
Remember we saw the 2001 AI film by Sabato where he basically retold the story within 10 minutes? Whatever it was. This seems to be in that same kind of tradition. Maybe we'll get a look at the start.
If the eyes are the windows to the soul, then the hands are its chapels.
You must wonder, Shakespeare?
Progress, the most sublime evolutionary trick.
Shakespeare mixed with some sort of tech video. Very interesting. Very cool. Go check out the full thing. It's on Foundation from Sabato. Look at that. I don't know how long it is. And this, how are we doing? We're actually doing really well here, but there's still a ton to go through. But we're actually doing very well for time. Sky Goodman. It wasn't better what you thought. It was better. So this is an AI artwork. And again, playing with these newer colors here. And the shiny shoe and everything. So just another cool AI sneaker work from Sky Goodman, available for 6 Tezos on primary, 1 left on primary. And Rob, who I call Rob V2, now Rob Official, Robness. There we go. And a trash bag. I think this is AI. And this is on 01. So I haven't used 01 yet, so I'm not sure how, if you want something, if you have to offer it, or how that works, or if you just give something. I'm not sure how the trading works, but it looks pretty interesting. And here, of course, Robness, I think the inventor, pioneer of the trash art movement. So here with a trash bag, various sequences of dances using artificial refuse material. So it's tempting to think of this as an AI artwork. Open on OpenSea, view on OpenSea. So maybe OpenSea is now doing Avalanche, perhaps. That would be interesting. Another interesting AI video, AIB030, custom bead made one of Pong hand sculpted glass beans, AI modeled and reinterpreted. So let me just show you. This digital art revolution here, I mean, it's incredible. The last 48 hours. It's insane. Like just another day at the office here as we, go through the digital art museum that is being created on a daily basis around the world. Incredible. Continuing on into the AI, white solitude, social protest. So more beautiful brushwork here from white solitude. And again, using the AI, this is an AI artwork, and I think it's raw AI too at that. And you can still tell it's AI, but I mean, really, you see how good the brush, the splashes are getting. I think they're rivaling real splashes, which is kind of interesting. So pretty interesting. Social protest, cool. Kind of reminds me of Max Ernst work. I think it's called The Horde, which is a whole bunch of people kind of blending into each other. Shall we bring it up here quickly? Max Ernst Horde, if that's the title. Yeah. And kind of like the chaos of society, I think is what this is getting at. Just like the primalness of, here you see this kind of, there's something kind of very primal and just like people running into each other, almost as if like, society and civilization is just this very thin kind of veneer over top of our primal, desires and battling it out. So that's sort of, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that Max Ernst work. So you recognize the artist here, Tukes, with a kind of a different work, GM, My Beautiful Family. And a cool building work. So more of a representational work here from Tukes. Beautiful piece. And I think we have another one. This is going to be in that show that Eile was discussing, I think curated by Claire Silver and put on by We Are by Unit London. So pretty interesting AI artwork here from Tukes. More abstract in this case. And Zoom, Post Rooms number 5. So a new AI artwork of the Post Room series, and again, very kind of painterly here, and just atmospheric and interesting, representational. Nothing quite like it. Again, this is one of those works that only, I think, would have been made with AI. Some cool physical work here. Eli Chaperone, GM everyone. Which item will you spend the day with today? There's a drop on object, and just a brilliant work here. And a cool reference to the Lego figure, but here with a palette that almost looks like the palette you see in an emoji. And a different kind of face here. And breaking news, a brilliant original artwork. And there's the hair that probably goes on top of the head by Eloy Chaperone. Just one of many works here that we discovered. Our new artists to discover. Luciana Guerra, with some nice physical work, decided to continue this series. So we've looked at a lot of Luciana's abstract works, often on Super Rare, also on Foundation, and I think Object. So here you see some of the physical work as well. And continuing on, this is also Luciana Guerra. Lilith's Dance, my collage of monotypes, has been selected for the National Engraving Gallery Artemio Eliseo 2023 in Argentina. Drawing is the way I use to criticize politicians and the state, so this really means a lot. So really nice work here too from Luciana Guerra. And we were looking at this artist, I think it's Donnie O'Donnell, and here you see that work in the real world, so to speak, IRL, in real life, and translates very well to the mural here, and I guess you see it being created, and I guess that's the artist. So look at that. You see how it's almost like little dots? So you can almost like measure. That's how they probably did it to scale it up. And there is the artist with the work. Very cool. And a beautiful work. We've been looking at Nugget Grain. Here is a totally awesome soccer or football work. And again, this one's oil on canvas. So I thought I thought the key to Nugget Brain's work was this wax pastel, but here it's oil on canvas. So that is interesting. So it uses multiple mediums, beautifully painted in here. Just beautifully. Like just something quite brilliant about Nugget Brain's work. And of course, this artist, Walk, and this is on Arzora. I love this Bugs Bunny. It doesn't look exactly like Bugs Bunny, and I think it makes it even better. It's just this almost a memory of Bugs Bunny. Beautiful work here from Walk. And continuing on, Helio Santos Horizon and Three Trees. So another new artist, a one of one here. Looks like a physical work that has been turned into an NFT. Kind of has a bit of a Van Gogh, a bit of a impressionist kind of feel to it, but also quite its own thing with textures and everything. So it says here plotter, which is interesting. Synthetic landscape generated with machine learning, painted by a drawing robot. So this was painted by a robot, incredibly. Very interesting. And another physical work here, I think Sabato retweeted this, Pale Kirill, Hidden Talent. And so just another, here's a basketball net and a basketball and maybe a player. Really interesting physical work. And that, my friends, is your show, and I'm thrilled we got it done so fast. So thank you for joining me again, and until next time, take care.